Well, Up and Up is an acronym. It stands for Unique People, Unique Promise. When we came up with that, we wanted to really enhance when someone says up and up. You know, it's not the opposite of feeling, down and down as such. So it's like unique people, unique promise. So it gave that people the opportunity of how they turn up is how they are, and they'll have their own unique possibilities.
Produced on Awabakal and Warramai land, this is The Good Stuff on Newcastle Live.
This is
Good.
good stuff.
The Good Stuff. One of our favourite Aussie acts, Little Quirks, have just released a brand new song called Reverie. The tune was recorded and produced by Nick Didia and mixed by Konstantin Kirsting and is super reminiscent of good old Fleetwood Mac. The Central Coast Trio will be here in Newey to support the Pierce Brothers on the 3rd of May. To get your tickets to see the Pierce Brothers and Little Quirks at King Street, head on over to newcastlelive.com.au. Over the weekend, I got to spend a bit of time with Shane from Up and Up Inspirations while they were painting out the back of the Newcastle Live warehouse. We got to check out the vibe and have a chat. Here it is. So look, I'd love to start off by asking you to describe Up and Up and how it came to be.
Well, Up and Up is an acronym. It stands for Unique People, Unique Promise. So when we came up with that, we wanted to really enhance when someone says up and up. It's not the opposite of feeling, down and down as such. So it's like unique people, unique promise. So it gave that people the opportunity of how they turn up is how they are, and they'll have their own unique possibilities to go up.
I love that. That's beautiful.
You. Yeah, thank you.
What have been some of your favourite projects that you've worked on?
Well, Up and Up, as part of our creative profile, or what we do is we do community engagement. So we use hip hop music, so we can show them how to make beats, how to write lyrics, how to perform those, do them live, record them. So how to make footage, videos like an iMovie up to every level. So that's one way. Another way is running workshops together with young people, teaching them how the fundamentals of how to do art-based stuff with spray cans. So when they come through, and then there's how else do we engage? We run events called Snack and Rap. And recently, just in the mall, we did art beats.
Yes, that looked amazing.
It was amazing. And we had our second event on yesterday, and we had a mini masterpiece competition. So we had, I think, about 30 or 40 people come through and did that. We had the local brass hip-hop horns band called 3 Degrees. We had DJ Mathematics.
Yep.
We had Madman from Top Button, making sure they all sounded very nice and clear, and all the Up and Up team within that as well. We invite people to come and try their hand at writing their names, learning the fundamentals of graffiti art in the community. So I'm not sure if I answered your question.
No, that's perfect. And why do you think it's so important to pass on those fundamentals or give people the tools?
They can make choices. People are informed by what they do with their hands and what their experience is about connecting. So when we say creative community connections, we're actually using a creative being as they are, using and inviting them to say, hey, try this. And we start really simple, like dots, lines, but these are all the fundamental tools that add up to probably what you're seeing here right now as you start to step through the process of that. So we encourage people to bring their unique self and however they choose to do it. So, I just love the vehicle of hip-hop. It's accessible. Even if you can't get spray paint, you can always get a pen and paper and draw and do that. With the music, if you don't have any music, you can beatbox. There's accessible things with hip-hop, and I think that's why it is, the world industry right now, as it is as a whole. So when people come through, it's about just tapping into their own resource about what would you like to do today. And
Well, from what I've experienced this morning, I've only been here for half an hour, but I feel so accepted as a human just to be in this space. You've created such a beautiful and welcoming environment, and it seems as though, watching just people passing through, conversations are being started.
Well, all of it was born out of the culture of hip-hop, which is about building your community. When I started, I'm nearly 40 years of practicing hip-hop in Newcastle this year. So to actually see the peaks and troughs of that over the years has been really nice, and weather them and consistently be in that 40 years and no way at one time taking a break. So be it on the music front or the art front or the building front. So I've actually, when people turn up, they actually get a chance to celebrate people as youth work, but also a cultural as person, that they, when they do pick up a can and do the dots, that they may go on to be like a Jordan Lucky or an Olas, who were, as people know, in the city are doing amazing things, but they were once part of our programs coming through as we are. So, you know, the propagation of hip-hop culture is the excitement. Because this space has many owners, as a sense of ownership. You know what I mean? Like there's the property owner, there's the artist owner, there's Ramsey, who we know quite well here, and you know, has helped us to forge and get certain relationships going. And then it's also too, once I start having them conversations, how I then, a very Newcastle way of, you know, 1 or 2, 3 times separated to have a conversation. Yourself, your boss, Stephen, and they're having these conversations, talking about, as creative people, acknowledging how important these spaces are. And let's face it, you know what I mean, the opportunity to do this may seem like it's abundant, but it does take work and it does take relationship building. And I think that's where the warmth comes from, because as a person, I'm always off the wall, because I know people are intrigued, because a lot of people don't understand. All they see is the end result. So when they do come upon us in an alleyway, most of us, you know, come off and have that conversation and go, oh, you know, this is what we do. And I'm not saying that's everyone, but generally the people that we associate have a really strong cultural community element. So those conversations are warm. The colours are bright, and the conversations are warm.
Now, I actually heard that you played a big part in getting hip-hop into Newcastle and getting it into venues. Is that right?
For me to actually, I would have been part of a larger group, just like today is. You know, an older me probably would have said, yeah, that's me. But it wouldn't be quite true, because I wouldn't be able to support it with a story. But what I can do is, like, the relationships I built. There's people like DJ Mathematics that are massively forged the way. You know, doing it together with other folks that come through that may be promoters that want to bring hip hop on. And because, you know, without the internet, when we were doing a lot of this stuff, for us to communicate, we had to go to our relationships. And because I'd been in Sydney and around and stuff, I did have relationships. But, you know, as far as, you know, all the other elements that move when it has to make a promote and bring a gig together, those people come in. So, yes, I probably was a front person to initially connect people together, and I may be the host, and, you know, like people from Downside all the way through to, you know, not so much me, but big shout to Blades, who brought Hilltops to Newcastle. And with another couple other moving parts with them when they, just before they blew up. And I remember at the Cambridge, ROP the Cambridge, all around the block. And for me, I've never seen the Cambridge in that. So to have and be a part of that crowd that was part of, and I believe it was probably 03, 04, that Hilltop Hood's first time in Newcastle, amazing. So it's not just me. It's many, many people that are still doing it. The Blades are doing it with the 3 Degrees, DJ Mathematics, but also too, Maths has got a legacy of young DJs that are through, you know, like you've got Mac DeVillain and people around doing club stuff. So I guess in a sense, but I'd be amiss of me not to acknowledge how important it is that people share space together, use their strengths to connect, and I don't know, just obviously not everyone's going to deal with everyone in the right manner and the right way, and that's going to be it, and that's just, I believe, human nature. But one thing I do love about the culture is that, you know, you got to, when an elder speaks of any culture, a person's got a bit of wisdom and experience. So I like to think myself in those circles, but I'm in good company with many, many people that have done amazing things and are coming into 40 years themselves this year as well. It's a real us thing. It's a real we connection, and I feel that's what happened when you came up Mons Parade, which is what we're aptly naming the alley. And we'll put a wooden sign that's in like a shaped sign, like a street sign, and we'll put that up in the next coming weeks up there, and we'll call it Mons Parade.
Tell me about the importance of that.
Oh, wow.
Sorry.
No, it's good. We had our celebration for him yesterday. He had passed. But he was just one of these people that are in your life that just travels around, really leads a real creative lifestyle, but to his own whim. Very polite, very engaging. When he was a tattoo artist, and he was this accidental counsellor. So when he'd do tattoos on anyone, what about a legacy you can leave from someone? Like half my body's done by this gentleman.
Yeah.
And when we had the goodbye yesterday, like celebration for him, everyone had some sort of tattoo there. About 70% of the people had like this memory. So this legacy of this person lives on. So he'd be an accidental counsellor. And these people that were sharing their story and stuff were talking about how important it was to have someone to listen to you. My experience is I got a chance to stay quiet. So I think we just sit in long periods of silence. So I think he helped me a lot with slowing down as opposed to having conversations about whatever. However, I like to think I was a little bit, had a counsellor as such for that. But when we got together, it was just about holding space together and chilling.
Yeah.
So for Mons, he spent a bit of time in Newcastle. He's from everywhere. So to have this alley dedicated, have you folks on board supporting us, to have like Top Rock, to have Newcastle Live, support local community culture and stuff like that. I know Mons is smiling somewhere up and down Hunter Street where he used to work and do stuff with us, and I think it's just so important. One thing that listeners might know or viewers might know is that hip-hop culture is very affirmed and celebrate their people when they transform, when they pass. It's one of the only cultures in the world that I never get the word right. When someone gets an award when they're passed on posthumously.
I think so.
We do that in spades.
Yeah.
We have the conversations. We have the celebrations. Every time, like, there's one person that's on the wall here, Timmy Phibbs.
Yeah.
He lost one of his brothers in '93 and still puts him up today. That's over 30 years later.
Yeah.
Almost 30 years later. So to hold space for that for your people that are in your life, it's quite rare in culture. A lot of cultures don't like to talk of people that are transformed.
Yeah.
We put their names in lights. Hence, Mons Parade.
Yeah.
So, and I encourage
So
people to come down and just see the artwork that's getting done, as you'll see at the moment, and just be in the moment as Monzy would, and he was just an amazing human. He was a cool human.
Yeah.
And you can just see by his artwork there that was a gift that he did for me as a drawing. And that actually says his name in the words. So I might be able to explain it later to you. But that's another thing about, it's all subjective and, like what's it say to you and stuff. But we do have an MO behind what we do and what we create as an individual. So, but yeah, RIP Mons.
Yeah.
Hence Mons Parade.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, look, thank you so much for letting us come down and be a part of this today. It's been so cool to get to see it all in action and experience this beautiful community.
Bonnie, I love, and I encourage folks to reach out, have a conversation with Newcastle Live because they're doing amazing things. And if you don't know, you need to ask somebody or just get online because these folks have a huge footprint, and I think it's so important that we all come through them creative ways, and some do it a little bit better than others. Find where you want, find where your space is, and find how you can connect, volunteer, and it's value in a different way. It's abundance in a different way.
Yeah.
And I think Newcastle Live is a space and a creativity and a far-reaching audience and realm. So if you're thinking about that, you want to do some stuff, you want to connect. I'm not sure how it can work, but these folks have the energy.
Yeah, totally.
And even the mob out there that might want to come other different ways of abundance, if you know what I mean, in different forms to come through and have them conversations, because this to me is of this wall here is an oasis at the moment. In some way could be a developing desert, if you know what I mean, to have this space, to have this gem, to have all the energies in this space. It's very unique.
Thank you so much for spending some time with me.
Thank you, Bonnie, for having me.
The good stuff. That's it for the good stuff today. I'd love to say a big thank you to Shane for having me along. It was such a gorgeous and welcoming community. Be sure to go and check out everything that they're getting up to. Thanks heaps for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow from 4 p.m.